Are you old enough to have actually owned a pager? Yeah, I know you know what one of these probably looks like, right? And are you older right now than you've ever been before in your life and looking for a way to get natural relief from some of the side effects of being old? Because in this video, we're going to talk about how older adults are using cannabis products more than ever before and how a lot of them are kind of like doing it wrong. They're doing it way too much, way too fast, and with the wrong products. And then they have terrible, traumatizing experiences and then swear they'll never touch the stuff again. Today, I'm going to show you the smart way to use cannabis products so you can get the benefits without saying, "Why the hell is my room spinning?" Or, "Why can't I get off my couch?" And stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you the 3 biggest medication plus cannabis combinations that should always trigger a conversation with your doctor. Hi. If we haven't met before, my name is John Watkins. I'm one of the owners of Balms and Botanicals, and I'm a big believer in natural wellness that actually makes sense in real life. And on this channel, my goal is super simple. I want to help folks like you and anybody else who's curious understand cannabis-related products and what's helpful, what's overhyped, and what can cause problems. The goal is to help you make safe, confident decisions without guessing or getting talked into something that you don't want or need. Between 2015 and 2025, the percentage of adults over 55 using cannabis products has gone through the roof, basically tripling, driven mostly by the legal expansion and rise of non-psychoactive cannabinoids like CBD and CBG and CBN. So in a way, cannabis products have almost become normal, but normal does not automatically mean safe, especially when you're dealing with heart health or balance issues or sleep meds or blood thinners. You know, kind of a lot of real life that, old people really have to deal with. Obviously, I must offer this quick disclaimer to let you know that this video is for educational purposes only, and I am not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice, and if you have heart issues or a history of strokes or you take more pills in a day than you can hold in one hand, you're going to want to run this by your healthcare provider. Now, let's get into the details. We're going to cover what I call the 5-part senior safe cannabis framework, and we're going to talk about pretty much 5 things. Number 1 is the number 1 mistake that many seniors make whenever purchasing cannabis. Number 2 is the safest way to choose what type to use, whether it's CBD or THC or CBN or CBG. Then we've got dosing rules that prevent 90% of the bad experiences. And then finally, we've got how to buy quality cannabis products and avoid getting taken advantage of. So just really quick, if you got time, let me know in the comments. Are you looking for help with pain or sleep or anxiety or stress or like maybe your appetite? The reason I ask is because information like that helps me make videos for the future. So if you have specific things that you're looking for or questions or anything like that, put them in the comments and you might just see a specific video about it in the future. The number 1 mistake is treating cannabis like it works the way that like alcohol works. With alcohol, you feel it pretty quickly. With cannabis, especially edibles, it can take a long time to kick in. So you take, say, 1 gummy and then you don't feel anything and you say, "Oh, well, I guess I need to take another one." Or hell, maybe you take 2 more. And then they kick in. And now you're on the couch wondering where you are or what fucking year you're in. So I'll give you a little bit of a personal story from my mother. She overdid it a little bit with smoking and ended up finding herself out in our yard. And she watched birds for 5 hours straight. One of the real big issues with whenever she had taken a little bit too much of the good herb is that we weren't sure that the birds were even there. We think she was just out there watching something, but we don't know what. With seniors, your goal is predictability. That means you start low and go slow. You don't stack doses until you know how your body responds. By the way, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about in this video comes from scientific, peer-reviewed, double-blind, placebo, etc. studies, and I'm going to have all those linked in the description. Number 2. What seniors should use, whether it's CBD or THC or CBN or whatever. So the best way I can explain it here is let's match the tool to the job. So if your main issue is joint pain or things like stiff hands or a sore back, my favorite starting point for seniors is topicals. Why? Because topical CBD is targeted and it's easy to control, and then you obviously avoid the getting high by accident pretty much completely. Now, if sleep is your problem, like falling asleep or staying asleep, this is where CBN plus the CBD combo comes in, and a lot of people like it because it can help with the sleepy effect without needing that heavy THC experience. And if you're looking for a daytime calm, many seniors do better with THC-free formulas that are either just CBD or CBD and CBG. The most common way to get them is in like a gummy form or possibly a tincture, and you get great results and they don't get you all foggy or off balance or anxious. One thing is important to note here, THC can help some people, but for others, especially if you're sensitive, it can increase anxiety or dizziness or obviously confusion. That's why the beginner move is to use something like CBD or CBG or CBN, and then after you've tried those, you can kind of decide if you want to venture into the THC area, but I wouldn't recommend starting with it. So, since we're talking about CBD and CBG and CBN, here at Ron's Balms, we have a few great options that fit seniors really well. You could get something like a CBD balm for spot treatment for arthritis on your hands or your neck or your lower back, targeted, non-greasy, and it absorbs fairly quickly. Now, if you're not really big into the balms, you can always go for an oil rub, and that's faster absorption and easier coverage for areas like shoulders or legs or knees or elbows, or people put it on their necks or their heads if they get headaches. And then obviously, if you're looking for them sleepy sleeps, we got the nighttime CBD CBN gummies that work fantastically for taking the edge off at night, helping you relax and calm down and go to sleep real good. Lastly, but definitely not leastly, you could get something like a CBD CBG gummy situation. These are raspberry and blueberry, and they're 100% delicious. Now we're on to number 3, the golden rule of dosing for seniors. The golden rule prevents most bad experiences. Low and slow with a long pause. If it's an edible, take a small amount and then wait a full 2 to 3 hours before taking more. If it's a tincture, like an oil that you can put under your tongue, you should wait anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And if it's a topical, obviously, like we said before, you can adjust sooner because it's localized and you're probably not going to accidentally stone yourself. Edibles don't really announce themselves right away. They sneak up on you like an ex-wife who wants to catch you off guard. Also, when you're testing new products, do it on a night whenever you don't have to drive, or ideally when someone else is home, because we don't need you falling down or getting lost in your bathroom again. Obviously, that would be a bad thing. Number 4. Red flags and who should be careful. Now, one thing that a lot of people skip is stuff like health cautions and conditions. There's growing evidence linking regular cannabis use, like smoked and even edible forms, to cardiovascular concerns, including effects on blood vessels and increasing your odds of heart-related incidences. So, if you have had heart attacks or strokes or angina or arrhythmias, this is definitely a talk to your doctor first type situation. It's also important to note that if you were to overdo it, even on something that didn't have THC in it, cannabis products can cause dizziness or sedation, especially if they're mixed with other sedating meds. So that's a full big risk you don't want to have to take. So here are 3 medication categories that should make you take extra pause and be very cautious before taking any of the products we've talked about. That's going to be blood thinners, especially stuff like warfarin. CBD can affect enzymes that metabolize warfarin and may impact your bleeding risk. So if you're on any kind of seizure meds or anti-epileptics, something like clobazam, I think is how they say it, there's documented interaction potential with those medications. So if you're on immunosuppressant meds, something like tacrolimus, these kind of medications also have interactions potentially through the metabolic pathways that CBD or CBG or CBN can use, so you definitely want to check those out. Bear in mind that this doesn't mean that you should never use cannabis. It just means don't just freestyle it and just go crazy and see what happens. You should definitely get guidance first. Now on to a very important category that you've probably stuck around for, and it's really a good one, and that is how to buy clean, good products and avoid sketchy stuff where you're going to get ripped off. So if you only remember one thing from this video, remember that you need a COA, that is a certificate of analysis. Any product that you buy should have a COA from a third-party lab. That's how you avoid contaminants and confirm that what's actually in the stuff is in it. So here, just as a quick case in point, like on this, I don't know how well you can read this on this jar, but it says CBD 1000 milligrams. This jar has been tested and it has 1000 milligrams of CBD in it. These are all tested, and you want to make sure, because some people can just say, oh, there's 10,000 milligrams in this little 2-ounce jar. And if you try to find the test results, there aren't any. Weird. Now, you want to make sure on these COAs that you get that they test for your actual potency, but they also need to test for pesticides, heavy metals, solvents, especially like concentrates and stuff like that, like cleaners, because obviously you don't want any of that stuff in anything that you're putting on or in your body. At Ron's Balms, we have all of our COAs completely publicly available. They're at the bottom of every page on our website under the lab results link. And if you buy from a company and they can't show you COAs right away, you shouldn't buy from them. For this section, I want to talk about a challenge. So cannabis for seniors can be helpful, but only when you use it like a tool, not like some sort of roulette wheel or some magic cure. Here is your day one action plan. I want you to write down your goal of what you want to help, relieve or fix. Do you need help with pain or sleep or stress? And then pick the lowest risk option for that problem first. For seniors, that's either a topical for pain relief that is THC free or something like a daytime or nighttime product for relaxation. So what I want you guys to do for me now, if you're still here, drop a comment and let me know what you're trying to improve, whether it's pain or sleep or anxiety, and if you've tried cannabis in the past. Obviously, anybody who has any questions, I'm more than happy to respond to anything that you might be wanting to know. So just let me know in the comments if you got anything. And speaking of sleep, if sleep is one of your big issues, I've actually recently made a full video breaking down CBN and why it's called the sleepy cannabinoid and how it compares to melatonin and how you should use it properly. And you can get that video right here. Just click right here and hopefully we see you guys over there.